This is week 16, I think. Yeah. There's 5 left. Here are the alliances. King of Jungle. House guests must hang on swinging vines that periodically slam into walls. The last one remaining wins. Nick gets last, and he comes down to Cassie, Thanos, and Brooke. Cassie gets third, and Thanos becomes the new head of household. Jack is safe, and Nick is safe, which means Cassie and Brooke have been nominated. Everyone will be participating. Big Brother Stock Exchange. The house guests enter the backyard to see various stocks set up. They must keep their heads and arms in them while holding a briefcase. The house guest that drops their briefcase closest to the 1 hour mark without going over will win the veto. Jackie gets last and Brooke gets fourth. Cassie gets third, which means either Nick or Thanos win the power of veto. Nick wins the power of veto, and I have a feeling he won't use it. He does not use it, which means either Cassie and Brooke will be eliminated. So Cassie earns extra money for this week's budget in the task. She also invents a new game, and the house is thrilled to have something new to do. They give speeches, and the house guests vote. Jack votes to evict Cassie. Nick votes to evict Brooke, which means we have a tie. Which means Thanos will place the tiebreaker vote. There's a tie. Thanos is HOH. I'm trying to make this as suspenseful as possible. Votes to evict Cassie. Cassie has been evicted from the Big Brother house. Her redemption is gone. Cassie had a chance, and she messed it up. Okay, so now we have Final Four. This is week 17. And as we wait for it to load, 2 alliances left. Foggy Memory. The house guests stand in between steps, each labeled with the word before or after. Each round, the house guests must decide if one event, read by the host, happened before or after a second event. If they are correct, you will earn a point. The house guest with the most points becomes the new head of household. And since only 3 participate, because the previous head of household, Thanos, isn't allowed to participate. So, Nick gets third, and Brooke secures her spot in the final 3. Brooke begins the nomination ceremony. Only one person is safe, and it's Jack. Because of the original alliance, remember at the beginning, between Josh, Brooke, and Jack. That has saved Jack. Which means Brooke has nominated Thanos and Nick. However, if either of Thanos or Nick gets the veto and saves himself, Jack has to be the replacement. Which means there's a 50-50 chance that Jack could be up for elimination. So everyone's participating. Each house has a staircase leading to the power of veto. This is the final veto. Each step represents a week in the Big Brother home, with the first week being the bottom step. In order to get to the top of the staircase, the house guest must place the name placards of each week's original nominees into the appropriate step. Once a step has been correctly completed, it will light up, and the house guest can move on to the next step. The first house guest to complete all steps on a staircase and touch a diamond at the top will win the final power of veto. Thanos gets last. So chances are Thanos will be up for elimination. Brooke finishes third, which means there's a chance Nick will be able to save himself. And Nick has won the power of veto. Now logically, Nick saves himself, which means Jack has to be the replacement, which means Brooke and Nick are guaranteed spots into the final 3, which means either Thanos and Jack will be 4th. Okay. Jack holds a house meeting to apologize for his behavior in the house. It is well received. Nick and Brooke bond. A banner flies over the backyard reading, Thanos is not to be trusted. Which means both Thanos and Jack face eviction, and he gives speeches. Which means the final 3 is essentially decided by Nick's vote. Nick holds a lot of power in his hands. This could win or lose Nick the game, depending on who he votes to eliminate. Nick votes to evict, trying to make this as dramatic as possible. Nick votes to evict Jack. Which means by a vote of 1-0, Jack has been evicted. Which means we have our final 3 of Brooke, Nick, and Thanos. So everyone who said Jack was going to win, you're wrong. But everyone else is still in the game. Brooke has got a pretty good record, 4 HOH wins. And now let's proceed. This is week 18, potentially the final week. There's only one alliance left, Nick and Thanos. Which means Brooke's down 1 out. Which means, oh yeah, because of the final 3, even though Brooke won the last HOH, she's still able to participate in this next one. Because it's the final one. The final 3 house guests stand on the wobbling wings of a plane. The last house guest remaining wins part 1 of the final HOH part competition and will advance to part 3. Yes, there are 3 parts. Part 1 is called On a Wing and a Prayer, which means the first 2 competitions will choose 2 winners, and those 2 winners will compete for the HOH in part 3. For your information, Nick finishes 3rd, and Brooke wins part 1. So Brooke now has a 50-50 chance of winning the last HOH. Now, we have to figure out who else is going to participate for the HOH. Because essentially, this last HOH, whoever wins the last HOH will eliminate one of the other 2. So it's a lot of power. You're essentially choosing who you want to go up against for the finale. So, the house guests will compete in a timed event involving household tasks. The tasks involve placing memory wall foes in chronological order by eviction, washing a towel, making and eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and placing POV and HOH winners in chronological order. That's really hard. The players who complete the most tasks within the time limit will win the second round of the final HOH competition. Nick and Thanos compete. Thanos wins part 2. That doesn't mean Nick is eliminated. It just means he really shouldn't be safe. He's at risk. So the 2 competing house guests will be read 6 incomplete statements made by the members of the jury. After hearing each incomplete statement, they will be given 2 possible endings. They will then choose which ending they think the jury member actually said. For every correct answer, they will get the point. The house guest with the most points will become the final head of household. This is a very important challenge. This determines who is guaranteed to be in the final 2 and who will choose the other member of the final 2. The final HOH is Thanos, which means only Thanos votes as the only person who can vote. Will Thanos stick with his alliance and vote out Brooke, or will he, for some reason, vote out Nick, even though Brooke has won like 4 HOHs and is clearly a bigger threat? Thanos votes to evict Brooke, no surprise. So, unfortunately for Brooke, well, she's gone. Which means By a vote of 1-0, Brooke has been evicted from the Big Brother house. Which means, actually, I gotta leave it on a cliffhanger. This is the finale, guys. Next episode, either Nick or Thanos will win. It'll be all up to the jury. The jury will vote who they think will win, if you don't know. The jury is like, usually, like some of the most recently eliminated, like Brooke, Dennis, like Cassie, like those recently eliminated people. Like people like Sam, he's probably not on the jury. Actually, he's not on the jury. Like people up to Mia, like Mia through Mason, are not on the jury. There's some other people might be in the jury, like Katie and Josh. But that's for the simulator to decide. So after some information, get prepared for the finale, next time. Dun dun dun.